Sharing a video game with your partner is an amazing experience. My wife and I have spent countless hours enjoying co-op games together, and today I'm sharing our favorite games that are perfect for couples. They are ranked based on how much fun we've had playing them. Let's dive in. At 20th place I have a nice puzzle platformer, Unravel 2. This is a very cozy and heartfelt game for a few relaxing evenings. Most of the puzzles in the game are simple and straightforward, but it has cozy vibes that will make you enjoy playing together. It also has very pleasing animation and art, and the main characters are knitted dolls called yarnies. I would specifically recommend it to playing with partners who don't play a lot of games because of how accessible the game is. It's a sequel to Unravel game, but the first one didn't have a co-op mode. Next, we have Haven, which is a game specifically made for partners, and you play as a couple that's stuck on an alien planet. The game features tons of interesting situations that are especially reliable for new relationships out there. The game mixes fast-paced exploration with turn-based battles. While neither of them are groundbreaking, they work well together as a cohesive co-op experience to support the engaging story of a couple's survival. Cat Quest 2 and 3 are both great action RPGs, although they are rather simple as RPG mechanics go. Because the series started as a mobile game, they are super fun games to play in co-op. The world of the game is super colorful and animated, and you play as a charming dog and cat in the game. It's excellent for light co-op evenings without dragging you too much into the gameplay. The first Cat Quest doesn't have co-op mode, it's a solo game. This one is more like a subgenre of games. While not strictly co-op games, interactive story-driven games offer a way to share choices and discussions as you progress with your partner. I've convinced that it's the best way to play them. There are certain studios I can recommend. All the games from Quantic Dream, especially Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. Supermassive Games make horror teen series which are not always smart but still enjoyable to play. I think Until Dawn is the best game from them. All the games from Telltale Games, with The Wolf Among Us being the best, but The Walking Dead and Tales from the Borderlands series being pretty good too. And lastly, the Life is Strange series. Almost all of the entries are fantastic. But let's move on to real co-op games. Next are two games from the same famous PlayStation universe, The Little Big Planet 3 and Sackboy Big Adventure. Both games are very similar. It's a very cheerful animated game in a fantasy world that can be played by adults, but also great with kids too. Co-op is filled with collaboration and fun moments. These games are also pure joy if you like customization and sandbox mechanics. There are so many things you can do in the game, even create your own little mini-games using in-game tools. Perfect for creative couples to mess around. Sea of Stars launched as a single-player experience but recently released an update allowing you to play the full campaign in co-op mode. This is a modern RPG but is heavily inspired by classic JRPGs, and it has some innovative interactive mechanics in battles. The game is a deeper and longer experience, so make sure you both have time to commit to it. But at the end, this game is totally worth it, and it was one of my wife's favorite games even without co-op mode. Now it's even more fun. Next is a fantastic game Spiritfarer, with incredible art and very emotional and touching story. This game mixes the platformer and exploration with a management sim to build and improve your ship. This is a rather light experience but with a deep connection with the players. One player can be the main character and the other plays as a cat. There is not much team play in the game, you are rather going through the campaign together. It's still a great story to share with your partner. Next we have the last installment of probably the most famous action RPG series, Diablo 4. This game has an awesome campaign to go through together, but you can also participate in the vast endgame, where you can spend hundreds of hours slashing tons of monsters and improving your gear. To be honest, we only played the game at the very launch, and after going through the campaign we didn't like the endgame that much. But since then the developers have improved the endgame a lot and many people are enjoying it. We spent a lot of time on the Diablo 3 endgame, so if the current experience would be the same, the game would have been much higher on my list. We are planning to revisit the game this year to see how the endgame has evolved. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to hear my thoughts about it. We found Children of Morta completely by accident and we were surprisingly happy with the game. In my opinion, it doesn't get enough coverage as it deserves. It's a very solid roguelike RPG with an atmospheric and interesting world, with great characters and a story about the importance of the family. I definitely recommend playing it to any couple, especially if you like the roguelike genre or have always wanted to try it. It's a very forgiving game for the genre, so it would be ideal for beginners. Next are the famous Xbox series Gears of War. All the games in the series are focused on co-op campaigns, which is quite rare for AAA games in the modern gaming industry, making it a rare gem. I cannot say Gears of War is the best third-person shooter out there, but together with a friend or a partner, it makes a very good one. Especially Gears of War 2, which is subjectively the best game in the series. The first and second games in the series were also remastered in 2015, so they have a modern look. Next year, we are also expecting to see a prequel to the series, so it's a great time to familiarize yourself with the world if you want to get into the series. Next is the super entertaining survival game Vampire Survivors. This game is a pure addiction, and once you start playing, it's hard to stop until you have all the achievements. That's what happened to us. It's a very simple game with only one control, walking. You kill armies of monsters with an auto-fight mechanic and select upgrades once level up. The game is a very fast-paced, full of slot machine-like addictive elements and just pure fun chaos. It's a perfect game for some enjoyable evenings with your partner. Cult of the Lamp is a blend of roguelike mechanics and base and cult management. The game has a twisted and dark sense of humor. You play as a sheep leading the cult, and your partner plays as a goat. Your goal is to make your cult happy, build a great village for them, and fight monsters in the dungeons as a roguelike element. We had a blast playing this game. The game is amazing by itself, but the co-op mechanics add so much fun to it. A Way Out is a game from studio famous for their co-op experiences. It's a cinematic story-driven game, and you play as two partners who are trying to escape from prison, with tons of different interactions. The game is built specifically for co-op mode in mind, so you can expect tons of shared efforts. Great story and a few interesting plot twists make it one of the best games for couples out there. Next is Cuphead. This is a challenging run-and-gun platformer focused on boss fights. The game has a very cool style of 1930s American animation, but don't be fooled by the cartoonish look. The game is very challenging, so be prepared to die a lot. I personally think playing in co-op is a little bit easier, but it's still no joke. I can only recommend it to couples who are looking for challenging games and are pretty good with platformers. Rayman Legends was released a while ago, but it's still one of the best platformers out there. It's fast, super fun, not overly complicated, and has incredibly varied levels. If you like the genre, it's absolutely must to play, and co-op adds so much enjoyment to it. I can recommend it to any type of player, even if your partner or you is not a gamer. Overcooked 1 and 2 are one of those games that you're planning to play for a few hours and stop noticing time very quickly. In the game, you need to follow recipes, bring ingredients, cook food, and collaborate with each other as chefs in the kitchen. The game is so polished and balanced both in gameplay and co-op mechanics, it's hard to stop playing. It's also not boring and can be challenging in some moments. Incredible game for people looking for co-op with a lot of teamwork. Next is Stardew Valley, which is a modern classic at this point. It's cozy farming and village living simulator, but it's also so much more. The game has an incredible amount of content and activities. It caters to all kinds of players, and with co-op it becomes even more interesting because you can divide different roles on a farm between each other. You can easily spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in Stardew Valley, but at the same time it can be just a very nice and cozy play for a few evenings. The game has everything for everyone. I am personally not a huge fan of puzzle games, but Portal 2 perfected it so much that even I was completely won over by it. In addition, the game had pioneered a lot of mechanics that you see often in modern games, especially physics-related ones. It also had one of the most memorable robots in video games, GLaDOS. It's a first-person action puzzle game and it's based on co-op mechanics for solving the puzzles. I certainly recommend it to everyone. Baldur's Gate 3 found tremendous success and got an infinite number of Game of the Year awards. It's one of the best RPG games of recent years and it supports co-op. awesome for people who like deep and narrative-loaded role-playing games, like us. The game has everything you love in RPGs: fantastic main story, side quests, deep character building mechanics, interesting and variety world. It's a perfect experience by itself, but sharing it with a partner makes it even better. If you like the genre, I can also absolutely recommend two previous games from Larian Studios: Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Both of them also support local co-op modes, and we spent hundreds of hours playing them. In the first place, I have It Takes Two. The game is just pure perfection of cooperative games, and no matter your gaming experience, you will love playing it with your partner. This game is fun, it constantly throws you into situations where you need to carefully collaborate with each other. The level design is incredible and varies a lot, so you will never get bored. It has a heartwarming story specifically made for couples out there and discusses some of the relationship issues you just might relate to, or you'll definitely know what they mean. This game is a must play, and the studio has absolutely nailed the co-op experience with this game. I can't wait for their next game to see what they come up with. I hope this list helped you to discover new interesting games to share with your partner. If some of the co-op games you loved are missing here, please post them in the comments and I'll give your suggestion a heart. Keep playing, take care, and I'll see you soon.